Okay, second start. Namaste, everyone. Welcome to class. Really nice to see you. So we're going to start our morning with our pranayama and meditation first, so we get our most important aspects out of the way. And then we're going to move into our asana this morning. So we're going to spend about 15 minutes with some pranayama and meditation. And then we'll spend the rest of the 45 minutes with our asana practice, okay? So and my incense is right at me. Okay. So I want to start with a counted breath. And so the ratio is 1, 1, 2, 1. So 1 is an inhale, 1 is an hold, 2 is an exhale, and 1 is a hold. So for example, if my breath is a count of 4, I'll inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 8, hold 4, okay? And some of us have talked about using the word pause rather than hold, so you're not gripping or grabbing. There's no need to apply any locks. Just pause the breath where you are, and then we'll continue, okay? So for me, this particular breath is easier if I do it in my belly, because it's really easier for me to just drop my belly, inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4, exhale as I start to bring my belly in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hold 2, 3, 4. But your breath may be 3, it may be 6, it may be 5, it may be whatever. So I'll count 1 or 2 with the count of 4, but feel free at that point to just peel off into your own breath pattern, okay? So just knowing that's where we're going to start this morning. Let's bring our hands into the heart, Anjali. Feeling yourself grounded down into the floor beneath you. Relax your bottom, your legs, your feet. And out of that solid base, letting your spine rise up. Just noticing the breath without changing it is in your belly or your chest, somewhere in between. Just noticing the diaphragm that separates the belly and the chest. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. A special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Hari Das. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, Ayurveda, and with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. So take a moment and find your intention for your practice this morning. Usually the first thing that pops into your mind. And then if you are where you can, please join me in one resounding Om, exhaling the breath out and inhaling to chant. Om. And then just letting our hands slip down to our legs softly. Notice your shoulders, let them rest. No tension in the shoulders. We're going to begin our counted breath, okay? So after I do 2 rounds, feel free to peel off into whatever ratio you have. It's 1 part inhale, 1 part pause, 2 parts exhale, 1 part pause, okay? And I'll do that with the count of 4, but feel free to peel off after the second round, all righty? Exhaling the breath all the way out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Make it your own. Notice where you have the breath. I find it's easier if it's in my belly so that I can pull my belly back to exhale slowly, gently, and smoothly for the double count. And the next time you pause after your exhale, just fall into your natural breath pattern. And just noticing how you feel. If you're feeling anxious, you're probably doing it a little too strongly. And just see if you can relax into it a bit. Okay, so just seeing if you can relax a little bit into the breath. So let's try that one more time. And again, I'll count the first couple of rounds at 4, but feel free to make it your own. And as I said, I usually exhale, belly to spine, release the belly, inhale, hold, exhale by drawing my belly back really slowly to the spine, and then hold, and then release like that. Okay, so just try it again. Ready? Starting with an exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pause, 2, 3, 4. Continue. And then taking the time to complete the round that you're on after you hold the exhale out. Falling back into your natural breath pattern. And just sitting and noticing the effects on the body, on the breath, on the mind. Today for our meditation, we're going to practice some mudra if you'd like. You're going to keep the first 2 fingers, the index and the middle finger, extended, and bring your ring finger and your pinky finger together with a thumb. So pinky finger, ring finger with a thumb, index finger and middle finger extended. So that's called prana mudra. And that increases our pranic energy. It increases and storehouses our ojas. So just relaxing the back of the hand toward the legs. Try not to press into the fingers. After a while, just let them relax toward one another. And then letting the eyes close gently, or taking a gaze down to the floor. And imagining, if you will, a candle at the heart. Strike a match and light the candle at the heart. Letting the candle flame grow in intensity. Beginning to fill the chest region with light, down through the torso into the hip region with light, moving down through the thighs and the knees and the legs and the feet with light. The light spreading up through the shoulders, down through the arms and elbows, forearms and hands. The light spreading from the chest into the very crown of the head until you are a light being, seated on your cushion, your floor. The breath is soft and shallow and just enough to sustain you. Bringing your mind into a mantra of Ram, 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 Ram. As the mind starts to drift away into thoughts, bring it back gently to Ram, Ram, Ram. Ram, Ram, Ram. Ram, Ram. Relax any effort in the hands. Ram, Ram. Ram, Ram. Releasing the mantra and the mudra. And just noticing, making a mental note of how you feel after the pranayama, after the meditation. Body, breath, mind. And then slowly and gently, bringing your awareness back to the self. Feel yourself centered and grounded. And feel the space in the heart region, really feeling into that space for a moment. So knowing that we have this internal flame that can always light us up and make us glow for others, for ourselves, just glowing within us. So go ahead and take your arms out to the side. And then hold on to your right wrist for a moment. Just lean a little bit over to the left. And then go ahead and place your fingers for a minute in Jnana Mudra. So index finger and thumb touching, and you still have your right arm over. Take your left arm down to the floor. And then bending your left elbow, reaching over a little bit more, but keep the right sit bone firmly on the ground. Coming from the thoracic spine. And then press up, and the arm floats back up. Hands into Gyan for a moment, wisdom, knowledge. And then hold on to the left wrist, draw it over just as far as is comfortable from there. Make sure that your left hip is now glued to the floor, right hand on the floor, right elbow bends, and we reach a little bit more over to the right side. And then press up, straighten the arms, comes up again, hands into Gyan Mudra. We're going to take the hands back behind us, and you're going to interlock the mudra. You're just going to put your finger in your other finger, just wrap it in, doesn't matter left or right, just wrap it in and reach your arms back. Reach the arms back. Good. And then release and give yourself a little hug, right arm on top. All the way around. Good. And then let's go back again and do the other little ring. You will go automatically to the next one, whichever one you did. Reach back. And then left arm on top for a hug. Good. And then both arms back up overhead for a moment. And just take the arms back beside us and back a little bit behind us. And pull your pelvic basket back as if you were going to lie for a minute on your sacrum. We're not going to go down any further, but just notice the psoas muscle right in there when you come back that little bit, just that little bit. Hopefully knees and feet are comfortable. Good. And then let's go ahead and lift the leg. Lift the leg, both instances. Bring the knees together and then squeeze the legs together and relax your groin. Just relax the groin muscles. The gracilis, everything, all of the adductors, just relaxing for a moment. Good. And then come up to our toe balance. Just come up to the toe balance. And then let's try our hands at Anjali. I have a candle underneath me, so my legs all of a sudden realized that it was hot. Okay, great. And then let's come up onto the ball, stay on the ball of the foot if you can. Just stay on the ball of the foot. Just stay up, stay up, stay up. And then lower into the ball of the foot and find your Tadasana. I'm going to move the camera. So just finding your Tadasana. Good. Okay. So now we have our Tadasana. We're upright in our standing posture. And I want us to think for a minute, put your hands right here where the psoas is, just right in the flexion there at the hip, okay? And then lean back a little bit. Don't thrust anything forward, but lean back a little bit until you get less flexion there. Just get a nice longer line. And so it happened from you using your upper like a back bend rather than pushing your hips forward. So no thrusting your hips forward, just keeping your hips stable. Roll your shoulders back and down and notice how your psoas has to react to that happening. Stretch and then exhale up. So just a standing camel or a standing bridge pose, okay? Come up and back. And exhale right back where you were. One more time, take an inhale, hold the breath for a moment, use the breath to lie on it, and then exhale back, okay? One more, inhale, hold the breath, and exhale. Good. So now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to take chair pose slowly. So pretend there's a chair right there and you can sit on it. So you can rest your hands on your knees for a moment. There is a chair. Pretend there's a chair right there. Okay. And then let's sweep our arms out just parallel to the floor for a moment. So just parallel to the floor. Lift the pelvic floor, pull in the belly. Breathe. Your quadriceps are active. Your knees are over your ankles. They can be a tiny bit forward, but they're really like firm. They're not way out there in front, okay? Because the chair's behind you that you have to sit on. Good. And then let's relax the arms and exhale up. Good. And then follow that with that little standing back bend. And exhale back to neutral, okay? Great. One more time. Inhale. Have a seat back behind you. Arms are parallel. Good. Breathe. And then we're going to stand and roll the shoulders back and down. And exhale back into neutral. Okay. So I'm going to do it once just so you see how my legs and feet are not, they're in my Tadasana. So there's nothing that's close here. Okay. So chair, seat goes back, palms are toward one another. Good. And then when we come up, shoulders are moving up, back, down. It's all in the thoracic and back into neutral. So where you hopefully felt the movement was here and spreading it throughout the thoracic spine. Okay, so let's go out for a moment. Wiggle your hips. And then coming forward, parallel to the floor. So spine is parallel to the floor, more or less. Kick your heels out a little bit. Make sure they're behind your second and third toe. Good. And make sure you don't take your hips too far back behind your heels. A little bit is fine because you have that movement and much more mobility than if we were on the floor with our legs spread apart. Crown of the head toward the center. So you're looking at the floor. And then both arms out to the side, just weighting the torso, adding a little extra weight to the torso. Press into your heels and the outside of the feet, spread the sit bones, and exhale up. Good. And then inhale and exhale over again. Inhale, get long in the spine, and exhale up. Inhale, exhale over. Inhale, get long in the spine, and exhale up. Arms up and to neutral. Good. So just find yourself in this anatomical-like position when they're looking at the anatomy, right? And we're going to externally rotate the right leg. Go ahead and bend the knee. Good. So arms are spread and big. Good. Pelvic floor is lifted. Belly is in. Everything is in. Spine is upright. And then just straighten the leg for a minute. Nothing else. Just straighten the leg. Good. And then bend the knee again. Make sure that your left heel is out enough that you feel stable. You can always kick it out a little further if you need. And then straighten the leg. Nothing else. Don't lock the knee. Just straighten the leg, but don't lock it. Still movable. Good. And again, bend. No leaning. Stay upright. And then flip the palms. Bring the arms up overhead. Straighten the leg. And bring the hands into the heart. Good. unrotate the right leg. And now we're going to rotate the left leg. Good. Keep the knee bent initially. See if you need to kick your right heel out a little bit more. Arms up. Not leaning forward, upright spine. Good, beautiful. Just be there for a moment. And then straighten the leg. Don't lock it, keep it soft. Just use the quad, but not lock and have the tendons and ligaments around the knee be compromised. Bend it again. Don't take the knee past the ankle. Keep it over the ankle so you have a lot of joint on joint strength. And then straighten the leg, arms coming up overhead. Reach up. Spine is upright, and then hands into the heart. And then unrotate. Good. And then let's heel toe a few until we can find again our Tadasana. As in now, when we do that same exact thing, that we're going to go down into our chair and then up into our standing back bend, but we're going to keep our shoulders down to do that. Okay, ready? We're going to have a seat in our chair, arms parallel to the floor, hips are moving back, the chair is behind you. Good. Breathe. Belly is in, pelvic floor is lifted, breath is in the chest. See if you can move it into the back body. Good. And then we're going to stand. And shoulders can come back and down. So spreading it through the thoracic spine. You can take a breath or two, or you can hold the breath for a moment and then exhale up. Good. And notice these muscles again. Put your hands right there and just notice how they're feeling. And let's go back again. Good. And this time I'm going to have a block. I could take it with me, but I have two, so I'm going to put it on either side. Okay, good. So let's start again with the right leg. Externally rotate. Foot is firm. Look down and make sure you can only see your big toenail. And your spine is upright, not leaning. Don't start already, okay? Arms up. And then gazing out into warrior two. Take your back arm, your left arm back a little bit. Just reach it back a little bit. Breathe. Watch your breath. Belly's in, pelvic floor's engaged. And all we're going to do is gaze front and forward, look forward, arms up, and then look to the side and reform warrior two. Come to upright on your inhale, leg to straight, but don't lock, and exhale. One more. Just stay for a moment. Good, and then release the arms, straighten the leg, and unrotate. Let's go over to the left side. Rotate, bend the knee, make sure you only have your big toe knuckle. Can't see any of your heel or anything. Pelvic floor is lifted, belly is lifted, arms are long. Gazing out over your left fingertips. Go ahead and pull your right arm back a little bit, open the right shoulder. Breathe. Keep the pelvic floor lifted. Belly's engaged, so you are breathing in the upper body, not too high up. Keep it around your back ribs, low ribs. And then we're going to flip the palms. We're going to come up, straighten the leg, look forward. And then exhale back to warrior two, gazing out. Flip the palms, inhale, come up, look forward. Exhale, back to warrior two. Last one, inhale, come up, look forward. And exhale, back to warrior two. Good. Release the arms, straighten the leg, and unrotate. Good. And then let's heel toe one more time. And this time, go ahead and take your shoulders back and down. So that's going to come first. Shoulders are back and down. If we were like in bridge pose, that's what you'd see. Okay, so shoulders are back and down. But I'm trying to keep it spread throughout my thoracic spine, not just lay on my last rib. Okay, so sternum is toward the ceiling. And then from here, I'm going to bend my knees, bring my spine to upright and form chair. Good. The seat's behind you. Excellent. And then come up. Roll your shoulders up, back, down. Spread it. Show the sternum. And then start your journey. Reach the arms down to the side and around to shoulder height. Keep your bottom as if it were on a chair. Then release the hands to the thighs. And then straighten your legs just a little, like you don't have to be locked, almost to straight. Good. Spine is you're at a right angle if you can manage it. You can press your hands into the tops of the thighs. Really press into the tops of the quads. Just breathing in this right angle for a moment. And then on an exhale, press your hands into your thighs and come up. Good, nice upright spine. And now let's go back one more time. We're going to add something besides warrior two. Okay, we'll start again with the right side. So warrior two, form your warrior two. Good. And maybe just looking out toward me initially. Okay, so warrior two. And now we're going to reach, reach, reach. And let your left arm just lie on your body. And take your right arm and reach it back to the left, just wherever it goes for a moment. See how that'll turn you down and then lift up. Now take your left arm again out to the behind you, and now reach it around and hold on to your right elbow. And see how that opens your heart and your chest. Good. Press through the legs. So this is our side angle for a moment. Keep holding onto your elbow and straighten the leg. And this is our triangle with no arms. So keep holding onto those elbows. Open your heart, open your chest. Leg is not locked. Good. And then in reverse, we'll add the arms. So release the arms, triangle. Bend the knee, side angle. You can also put your arm down. And then back to warrior two. Good. And then reach again. Reach even more. Kick out your left heel a tiny bit more. So I put my forearm down. I could have put my hand down. So don't let yourself collapse. This side has to stay as long as this side. So whatever you need. Good. And this side is long, a Tadasana line. Great. And then again, our triangle. Bottom side is just as long as the top side. And then let's exhale all the way up to warrior two. Release the arms, unrotate. And now we're going to rotate on the left. Good. Let's find our warrior two. Arms floating up. Good. Make sure that your right heel is kicked out enough to give you stability in your pelvic basket. Good. And this time we're going to reach, 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 letting your right arm just lie down beside you. Good. Straighten the leg. Good. And then go ahead and take that arm back. And you can see how that'll take you to the ground. Open up and take it the other way. So really focus on pulling your left arm and shoulder up and back. Good. Excellent. I'm gonna add So triangle, arms really floating away from one another. Side angle, bend the knee, and this arm can stay down or up. Good. And then warrior two. Good. And then gaze back to the front and center. Let's go again. Reach, reach, reach. Just see if you go any further this time. Arm up, and triangle by straightening the knee. Keep opening up the whole of the right body. Good. And then we're going to exhale back to warrior two. And then just release the arms, unrotate. Come back and find your standing Shavasana. So just relaxing the body for a moment. Muscle to bone. Let the breath be soft and even. Eyes to the floor or closed. Soft pelvic floor, soft belly, soft chest, soft shoulders, soft jaw. Good, and then on your next inhale, let the eyes flutter open. Good, so just a little bit of balance here, okay? We're gonna do eagle pose. I'm gonna do mine with a kickstand. You're welcome to wrap the leg all the way around, but I'm gonna do mine with a kickstand. So nice soft body. So if we were gonna do a little qigong or tai chi, just kind of get wiggly for a second. Nothing tense about you. Good. And then lift up through the pelvic floor, engage the belly, and then take the left heel off the ground. Make sure your whole right side is stable. My right knee is still bent. I'm going to cross the leg over and kickstand it. And that's going to be, my hips are even, and I have corn cob stakes on both sides of my hips, keeping them integrated. Good. And usually, it can be any way you want, but the underarm, the under leg is going to be the underarm. So we're just going to reach over past your left shoulder. Good. And then reach all the way over your left arm to your right shoulder and reach as far away as you can with both arms. And then place the backs of the arms toward one another. And you're welcome to wrap the arms even more, or just keep the backs together. Good. Let your elbows lift to shoulder height, gazing past your wrist. Belly is in, everything's in. And then just play a little bit with going a little bit deeper. Keep the integrity of your spine. Breathe. This is eagle. This is a royal, regal eagle. Hips are even. You're welcome to go ahead and wrap that left leg if you'd like. And now we're going to unleash it on an exhale and get big. And just walk for a moment. Good. And then get soft. We're going to do the other side, but just let everything rest for a moment. Pelvic floor, belly, chest, everything that you're going to really need. Let it have a little respite. Good. And then find your stillness. Peel up the right heel. Bring up the foot and leg and cross it over and kickstand it. Corn cob stake the hips. Keep them even. Good. And then reaching the arms across and away from one another, as far away as you can before you bend the backs of the arms together. Looking past your wrist. See if you can sink down a little. Elbows at shoulder height. Good. And then on your next exhale, get big. And just walk it out for a moment. And then find your standing Shavasana. Soft thighs. Let your quads relax to the bone. Think about the hamstrings on the back. Relax them to the bone. Pelvic floor relaxed. Belly relaxed. Breath is wherever it goes. The space between the shoulder blades, relax it. Check in with your jaw. Just release the mandible. And notice if your body feels extra light. Could be any kind of light. Light is in feather or light is in illuminated. Good. And then we're going to come down nice and slow. We're going to go back to our toe balance, just coming down on the ball of the foot. And then we're going to slither our way down to the floor. But maybe just before you slither, watch for a second so you don't have to move your neck and see what I'm doing. Okay. We're just going to do a little back stabilizing here because of all the back bending we were doing at the beginning. So when we come down and we're going to come down onto the belly and into Sphinx pose for a moment. And we'll stay here for a few breaths as you relax. Take your toes together and your heels out. So you're relaxing the back. And then you're going to take your toes, your heels a little bit, not too far together, but your heels toward one another, your toes out a little bit. And then you're going to just relax the tops of the feet. So I'm going to do that with your legs for a minute. And then when we come down, you can rest your hands rest your chin or your forehead on your hands. And we're going to just lift one leg at a time with the heel toward the ceiling. So no rotation. We're just going to lift. We're playing with those same muscles we were working with when we were standing. And then we're going to do an alligator for a moment. And then we're going to do Advasan instead of Shavasana eventually. Okay. So come on down. You've got more or less what we're going to do. We're going to do it more slowly. Come down into Sphinx pose, placing your elbows right underneath your shoulders. And you can slump down, just kind of let yourself collapse, let your ribs go into the floor, and then build the pose by taking your shoulders back, push your ribs away from the floor, pull in your belly, point your toes and stretch your feet out so that you begin to really notice the difference in what's happening with our legs. So feet are out, pointed toes, little toes are on the floor, legs are engaged, and the knees may have lifted off the floor a little. Keep your belly engaged. So you're in Sphinx. Good. And then take your big toes to touch and let the heels rock out to the side. Keep your belly in. Breathe. Now you're not slumping, you're pressed away, you're active in your body. Hopefully you can gaze out beyond your fingertips, maybe 18 inches or so out beyond your fingertips. Keep your belly engaged. Good. And then point your toes again. All 10 toenails on the floor. Good. And then I want you to think about how this is going to feel in your low back, which is why I'm always concentrating on keeping the heels toward the ceiling and no rotation. Now, take your heels toward one another and notice how that compresses your low back. And then release it and notice how your low back can come back into a more neutral position. And then again, take the big toes to touch and the legs apart. So this is overly relaxed with the big toes touching and the legs apart. But this can help us to relax for those of us who've had a tendency to have external rotation, which is our nature. Good. And then point the toes again. Press through the tops of the feet, press through the little toe side. Heels are toward the ceiling. Pull your belly away, press into your forearms. Get long in the spine. Gazing out those 18, maybe even 2 feet in front of your hands. Big fingers, spread the fingers. And then for one moment, just curl the toes under, curl them under and press up for just a moment. And then release the belly down. Good. Stretch through your toes, wing out your elbows, and then make a little pillow with your hands, resting your forehead or your chin on your little pillow. And we're going to work just with the legs for a moment. So not any rotation in the legs. So the little toe is still down on both sides. And then as you lift the right leg, the heel stays toward the ceiling and then lower. 3 times. Lift the right leg and lower. And lift the right leg. Keep the left leg along the floor. Don't let it move anywhere. And lower. And then ready. Left leg lifts and lower. Left leg lifts and lower. Left leg lifts and lower. Reach through both big toes and little toes. So all the foot is all the way on the floor. Pull in your pelvic basket, pull in your belly. Pelvic basket is resting on the floor completely. Good. And then sweep your arms back down beside you. Backs of the hands toward the floor, palms toward the ceilings. Relax your shoulders into the floor. And we're going to peel up into alligator. We're going to peel up and release. Inhale, peel up. Hold the breath for just a moment and release. Inhale, peel up. Keep the heels toward the ceiling. Don't rotate the feet and legs. And release. This 4th time we're going to stay. Peel up. Breathe. Reach through your toes. Breathe. And release. Turn your head to one side. Rest into the cheek. Turn your head to the other side. Melt down into the cheek. Shoulders are melting into the floor. And then bring forehead or chin to touch one more time. One more lift into alligator. Good. And then take your arms around parallel to the floor and just reach out. So you're balancing, belly is in, belly's engaged, low back is protected. Then bring the hands again underneath the shoulders, the elbows underneath the shoulders, and reestablish Sphinx. Good. And now you can relax your legs however you want to relax them. Just let them relax for a minute. So nothing going on from the buttocks down. Pull in the belly. Good. Okay, and curl the toes under and press up. And release. Roll your toes out again. One last time. Good. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Glue your elbows back beside you. Press up and back, hips to heels. Gazing forward. So if you're not inverting, this is exactly where you're going to say in this little kurmasa, in this little frog pose. If you're inverting, you can reach forward into what some people call puppy pose. Just reaching your arms forward, keeping your hips up, but this is an inversion. Our throat is below our root of the body. So either in frog or in puppy. Good. And then walk your hands right underneath you for just a moment. Good. And then coming to any kind of comfortable seat for just a moment. before we go back down for our inversion. So just a little bit of a twist before we invert again. Good, nice tall spine. Good, make sure you're on top of your sit bones. You're like right on top of your sit bones. Great. So today I want you to start by taking your gaze over to the left side, just the gaze. Nothing else move, just your face. Bring it back. Keep your gaze exactly where it is. Open your left shoulder. Keep your gaze to the front. Open your left shoulder as much as you can. Reach your left hand along the floor till you open the shoulder. And now release the gaze. Breathe. Notice where your sternum is, where it's facing. Bring the chin back first, face back first, and then release the shoulder. Good. Take your gaze over to the right side. Just looking first. And then bring your gaze back to the center. Open your right shoulder, reach the right arm back as far as you want. Just reach the right arm back, keep looking to the front. Good. And then add the gaze. Breathe. You're sitting up on top of your sit bones. And then the gaze back front and center. Then release the shoulder. Good. So we're going to go down to the floor and take our inversion if you're inverting today. If not, you're going to have a little bit longer with legs on the bottom on the floor, legs on the wall. If you are inverting today, I'm going to encourage you, instead of doing viparit, to do bridge pose, because I want you to take advantage of what we were doing with that psoas muscle. So I'll just show you real briefly. As I come up, and I can use a block. And as I do this bridge, if you're inverting, feel free to stretch the legs out if you're using a block and really feel that position that we felt on the floor. Shoulders are tucked under. So really feeling that position that when we were standing, okay? You can feel it all the way through here. If that's uncomfortable, just bend your knees. And you can also do it without a block. You can walk your legs out a little and get a little space there. So however you want, if you're inverting. If you're not inverting, just swish your legs around and place them on the wall with your bottom on the floor, okay? I'll hold the space. Just check in that you have plenty of space in your cervical spine and your neck. Let's try one more minute before you slither your way into Shavasana. And if you want to go earlier, go earlier. This is your practice. And then beginning to slither your way to the floor the best you can from whatever position you're in into Shavasana, corpse pose. Don't feel trapped by your mat. Just beginning to let go. Babaji says the hardest pose of all, just letting go. Check in with your jaw, that it's soft. Release the mandible, the jawbone. Letting your eyes roll back in the sockets. Letting your tongue be soft in the mouth. And the whole body heavy on the floor. Slowly and gently bringing your awareness into the breath, finding it in your belly or your chest, letting it grow a little bit in dimension. Bringing the senses online, smell, taste, sight, touch, sound. And then deciding how you want to make your way into embryo pose, rolled over, curled up on one side. You can stretch out, you can shrink in. And then as you're ready, press the floor away, finding a comfortable seat, being still for just a few more moments, letting everything integrate. Pranayam, Tadana, concentration, Asana, postures. Just letting everything do its magic. Bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Any merit we may have earned this morning in our practice of yoga, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Remember your intention. Bring it to your mind. And then let that intention with any offerings you might have for someone or something drop from your mind down into your heart space, and symbolically from your heart space into the very palms of your hands, and then lift it up and let it go off into the universe, bringing the hands back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Okay, so I'm coming to you. Mitzi joined us for class somewhere in the middle. Okay, good. So let me fix it where I can hear you and you can talk. Good. Get me unspotlighted. And get me into a gallery. Great. Okay. Welcome home, Antonia. She's been our traveler. She's now back in Guatemala. Nice to have her back. Hi, Michelle, Manipa. Hi, Brenda. Hi, good morning. And Cam, thank you as always. Hi, Kenneth. Convisor, I know you. You're my girl's papa. Yeah. Nice to see you. Welcome to class.
Likewise, really. Good to see you too.
Are the girls home?
They are, yes.
All right. Well, you have to tell them I said hi and they need to come to class on Thursday.
I will do that. Well, my youngest Rosemary did the class with you too. So
oh, wow, wonderful. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, tell them I both of them I said hi. Yeah. Micaela was down here with me in, well, Ileana. Yeah, they both were yoga students with me at Mount Madonna. And they invited me to their house for a wonderful pancake breakfast and then a view of their avocado orchards. And then Micaela actually came down and worked for me here at the hotel for several months. So it was really wonderful. Okay, I want to know from you guys how it felt to do that counted breath with the pause at the beginning, if that prepared your mind for meditation, if that was really easy then to slide into that meditation. What did it do for you? Antonia's giving me a thumbs up, so that's good. It was good for her. Anybody else? Alfredo, Amber, Amy, anybody? Michelle, yeah, Brenda, anybody? How was that experience?
It made me go quite lightheaded.
So you were going too long, right? Your count was, you weren't yet at a 4, maybe you were at a 3. So like if you start to get lightheaded, then you have to back it up and just say, okay, I'm at a 3 inhale and 3 exhale and 3 inhale, hold, 6 exhale, hold, 3, right? So it just means you're going it's too big. You just bit off more than you could chew first time around. So it's no, that lightheaded bit is part of what helps us to kind of ease into that ether area that the dharana really begins to happen, where you can reach that concentration. But there's a very fine line between the two, right? And you don't want to feel lightheaded and like I'm not present. You want to be present. So it's really good to just back off a little bit and do a smaller ratio. And how many of you noticed that if you didn't practice the hold and instead in practice pause, that it was more, that it was a better experience? Yeah, Ashok, yeah. And I think Alfredo has said that before too, yeah. Yes, I find that if I do a hold, it like gives me this ingrained thing of like trying to apply all the locks and just like lock it down. And it's really not necessary. This can be more of the Raj pranayam, just the pause is more natural and just waiting for it, right? So this is a really, Michelle knows that she should go smaller because this is a good thing to relieve anxiety and stress. If it causes any kind of like anxiety with doing it or super lightheadedness, then you just need to back off your count. but the count is always 1, 1, 2, 1, right? Michelle?
I'm okay exhaling, but I struggle to inhale.
So that's why I said do it in your belly. I'm gonna show you my belly when I do this practice. Hopefully you can see my belly. Can you see my belly?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm exhaling out so then I can be in. Okay. So my belly is doing all the work. Could you see that? That I'm just letting my belly go for my 4. I'm holding my belly out there wherever it fell for those next 4. And then I'm slowly bringing my belly back in for all 8. And then I'm holding it where it is for the next 4. And then I just release it for my inhale to come in for 4. So I'm just playing with my belly. And it keeps me really grounded during this practice rather than trying to take it somewhere up in here, right? So I personally enjoy doing it down with the diaphragm expanding like that. So, you know, I know some people do it differently, but that's just my way of making sure I don't get lightheaded, but I feel really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Ginger,
Uh-huh.
I have a question as far as when I'm meditating, so sitting sometimes can be really uncomfortable for me because of my hip flexor and especially first thing in the morning. So is it okay if I lie down? Because that's like what's really comfortable.
No. Because lying down leads to sleep. It's okay for yoga nidra when it's really okay, but it's not okay. And the only reason it's not okay is my brother Brajesh would say, it just leads to sleep. And so keeping that alert state of mind with the spine erect, there's a whole practice of yoga nidra, but it's really trying to maintain an alert state in the body and not fall asleep, right? So I would suggest a chair, Brenda. I would literally just sit up in a chair with my legs in front of me and just put my hands in my lap and relax. Yeah. Yeah. And I have a chair close to me, and sometimes when my legs are hurting, I can just plop myself up into the chair, right? There's nothing wrong with the chair. I take the cushion with me. I don't sit on that hard black chair.
Thank you. Good to know.
Yeah. A chair is such a comfort. And also like bringing your hips up. Like if you have like a little bench or a stool that you can sit on with a cushion on it and just let your legs kind of dangle that for example, this would be a good bridge. This is a stool, which you can't see. So here, right, this is just, but I can let my legs just like dangle a little bit right there. And that feels okay. And then if it starts to bother you, just, bring your legs up and keep them right there, knees over ankles the whole time. This is a great meditation posture because your spine is erect, your hips are in their comfortable position, and they won't be yelling or screaming at you. So this is a perfect place to sit and meditate.
Thank you.
Yeah, no one has to be on the floor. In India, everyone was on the floor forever. I mean, because the sitting on the floor was a custom. I mean, that's what people do. They sit on the floor, just like in Morocco and Saudi Arabia, and people sit on the floor. That's why they have beautiful, expensive carpets, and they sit on the floor. So the hip flexors are already ready for that when you grow up. So we don't need to torture ourselves. We can sit in a chair. We need to find something that's comfortable so we can actually find the process of letting our mind get one pointed rather than we're dealing with the pain in our legs and our hips and our this and our that. Yeah. Yeah. So anything else with the practice? How are your hip flexors and your psoas after doing the practice this morning? When you did the Sphinx pose, and then we relaxed the back muscles with that. And then we were doing the extension of the leg, bringing it up, letting it extend back. How was that? Did that feel like you had a little bit more extension? Because that's what I was looking for. It's just a little bit more extension. Because sometimes, we can lift our leg back and up, and it doesn't go very far because we haven't worked with that muscle along the psoas first. So like today, I was hoping like here you are in your supine position, and here are your legs. And sometimes like we do it at the very beginning of practice and we're like this, here are our legs, just like that. One leg, just one leg lifts a little bit and that's about it. But I was hoping that you'd get like a nice lift to the legs because the psoas had moved and been relaxed to its maximum comfort level without straining it or pushing it too hard. And then how was the last bridge, the very last bridge that when you did your bridge before your Shavasana? Could you feel the extension you had there in the psoas muscle and the pectineus? Good. Good. Those are my nemesis on my right hip. Those are my nemesis. So, I hope you can, I'm learning to take care of myself by showing you what to do and not to do. Yeah. Yeah, it's really, it's a good lesson for all of us. And so this morning when I did my meditation before class, I had the candle flame at my heart and it just kind of came into, and I just lit up like a little hot air balloon. Did you guys, was the meditation okay for you? It just literally came to me in my meditation this morning. And I thought, okay, well, I guess we'll do that. I've never done that before exactly, like light a match. And I literally like lit a match and yes, Amy.
I had a question about what you were talking about before, the work with the psoas. If you're really struggling on one side that just keeps yelling at you, should you just alter your practice?
My practice is totally different on both sides now because I have to really baby the right side.
We did a lot of symmetrical poses. And so that's what I was thinking is like the whole time, my right side is yelling at me at from where it attaches in my back to my hip. And so I was like, I think I need a super somatic, gentle practice today.
Uh-huh.
I just wondered if you had any thoughts about when you're doing symmetrical poses and you are having such a...
I just modify that side a lot, Amy. Like today, I happen to be relatively open, but I know you've all seen me where one side looks completely different than the other side because I just couldn't do it with my right hip the way it acts up, right? So I mean, I don't have any problem with really modifying one side. My rotation is completely different on my right than my left in that leg and that hip because of the arthritis. It's now there. So yeah, but it doesn't mean I don't want to like try a little bit on that side to get the movement. But if I go too far, it aches for 2 days. And so I know exactly what you mean.
It's more in poses like Sphinx or poses where both legs are doing the same thing.
Yeah, well, what I try to do when I'm in something like Sphinx is while I'm laying there, I really try to envision the acetabulum deep in the socket. I just try to put it super deep in the socket. Uh-oh, did Amy disappear? She did, didn't she? No, there you are. Okay, you were there and you went there and it's like, where'd she go? So like if I can sit mentally, really place my heads of my femurs deep in the acetabulum, and that makes me pull in my low belly to do that. I like pull in the very low part of my belly. That helps me to stabilize. And then I try to keep the movement throughout the whole leg and not just because I'll have a tendency just to pull into the quad Do you know what I mean when I say that? Just like the quad does it all, and instead try to like divide it all the way up into the back body. Because even though I only need hamstrings to do that lift, I mean, I don't really need much quad action. I'll just grab with that quad. And then my piriformis, not my piriformis, my front nerve hurts, the femoral cutaneous nerve. That's like everybody that has sciatica. Well, I feel you, but mine's on the front of my leg. And so that nerve will react if I've not been really careful about how I'm doing on both sides. And it's just like, it goes right over, it goes right in between the piriformis and right, not the piriformis, the psoas. That nerve comes right over the pelvic basket and goes right down into the hole of the leg. So that nerve is what tells me that I can't do the same thing on both sides. And I literally can't. But the stabilizing of both hips in the socket really helps me. So we can try that. Okay, well, my son arrived yesterday, a day late. American Airlines had a little problem, so he came in a day late, but I went and got him at the airport, which was great. And he's here, so I'm going to go enjoy my avocado toast with him. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. Okay. Really wonderful hanging out with you. Have a great day today and tomorrow. And hopefully I'll see you on Thursday morning. Okay. All right, everybody. Much love. Bye.